undisclosed location. This is your host, Tanky, and when last we left off in Rogue Trader, our dude was our Emilia had a bit of a run-in with a tech priest who had taken her factory from her, and we are going to take it back from him because, well, she's a Von Valancius, even if she didn't know it up until, like, a few weeks ago or something. Still, it's her factory. He's not having it. It's ours. I mean, I'm not going to say for the Emperor because, yeah, we're very much chaos now. And speaking of that, first thing we are going to do, well, actually, second thing. First, we're going to kill this, a Chaos Marine. But after that, what we do is we go back, we drop our friend Heinrichs off, and we take some more chaosy receptive people, shall we say, along. Space Marine towers over the tech priest's bowed heads like a dark cliff. He is reciting a sermon, slowly, almost chanting. From the mere sound of his deep, low voice, you break into a cold sweat and your gorge rises. Listen, for my words reveal to you a path from the darkness unto the primordial truth. Was he a word-bearer? Which has thrown open its gate for wayward souls seeking deliverance from the out of lies and torments of enslavement. Your minds have shed the bonds of dogma that has guided you into the abyss. Accept now the hope granted to you by the greatest of the word-bearers. Sacrilege! Here, on the soil of an imperial world! Heinrichs hisses through gritted teeth. I knew our meeting on Rykad Minoris wouldn't be the last, but to run into this anathema here, Kiava Gamma did not merely succumb to heresy, Emilia. Your world is in the clutches of the greatest evil known to the Imperium. The new sphere signal of the defective units have been archived. In accordance with the sacred commandments, I will tolerate no heresy, and hereby sentence you to categorical disposal without redemption. That voice, have I heard it before? Or, no, it's like it drowns out all other voices. Let's leave. Quickly, please. The Chaos Space Marine does not seem to notice you. His gaze is focused on his flock, who are hanging on his every word. Those living a lie will not see the truth until they have renounced false gods. Only through your faith does the reign of those corpse worms hold. Worms that devour your very body, wrecking weak souls, gnawing at your eyes and ears so that you do not turn them towards the true masters. Your world, a foundry in the realm of corpses, was given the honor of serving as the crucible of the oncoming victory, and we, the word-bearers, shall be at the tip of it, as well as those whom you can overcome as well as those of you who can overcome the slander of the false idols. The incinerating fires of Kiava Gamma will birth weapons which advance heralds of the coming age, an age wreathed by the glory and resplendence of chaos undivided. Feels as if, with each of the space Chaos Space Marine's words, the light around you dims. Something tickles your face. A thin rivulet of blood is streaming down from your nose, dripping onto your shirts. That's it. I've had enough of these profane words. Turn around, beast of the archenemy. You called down the purifying flame upon yourself, and the flame has come. Registering encroachment upon sacred furnaces who both fought in action, initiating virtuous eradication procedure.
Submit, and you'll die quickly.
Your Emperor won't save you!
Excuse me.
Do you see that?
All too easy. Suits my purposes. Not a problem for me.
Nice.
Death to non-believers!
Faith without deeds is worthless. Eradicated.
Nice.
I'll do it.
I serve the ruinous powers! Failing.
Not so nice.
Let's see to it. But of course, Lord Kelvin.
Oh.
I won't object to it.
Victory is imminent. Indeed. At your beck and call.
I bring ruin.
Gives us strength.
Damage to Bulk.
Nice.
do. Very well. On it.
Nothing I can't do. Nothing of value has been lost.
As the Emperor commanded, strike is a prayer.
Nice.
I need a foothold. For the throne's glory.
I will do my duty. Ah, an exemplary strike.
Nice, nice, nice. Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
Activate calculated fury algorithm. Request approved.
I should have.
The analysis.
I can do that next time.
My vow is to serve. The Omnissiah knows all. Let the cycle be discontinued.
Was it you? Or...
But of course.
Okay.
all too easy.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone. I'll do it.
Focus, Baron Callops. Focus.
Let's see to it. I won't object to it.
Scriptural prognosis is favorable. Running by Eric Override. Yours is an equation. Your life is an inevitable variable.
High momentum.
I am his will made manifest. This is why I was chosen. Doubt is for the weak.
I won't go down easy.
But of course, be gone.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time. Grey hair? Sure have. At your beck and call.
Embrace death without regret.
Duty prevails.
A new challenge for me.
Let's see what's in here first. Oh, is that the Inquisition seal there?
The machine god grants me insight.
Cogitator looks dead. Only a single lumen shows that there is life within the machine.
We need to investigate. Halt! I noticed something.
Join me in prayer. Blessed be the road that we take.
Doubt is for the weak.
A thick layer of dust is a telltale sign that this place has had very few visitors. And despite that, you can see faint footprints that were left by whoever came here last. Nope.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
The old research cogitators are unpowered. Towering furnace was wreathed in scarlet lights. Fills you with awe. As you approach it, the heavy thrum of ancient servo motors erupts from the machine's depths, along with the crackling binaric undertones. The dust-covered keys are illuminated by a faint pale glow. A long binaric trill from the guts of the furnace triggers a wave of quiet clicks coming from every direction. The furnace responds with a short binaric signal that evokes the mechanical rustling of unseen switches. Rumbling builds up in the bowels of the furnace, growing stronger apace with the sounds of ancient motors. The rumble is echoed by the screeching of metal gears and the clanging of unknown mechanisms. Slowly, almost hesitantly, the creation of the Adeptus Mechanicus disgorges a databank engraved with the coat of arms of House von Valencius. The device, which bears an odd resemblance to both a cogitator and a furnace, reacts to your presence with a faint blink of its lights and an inscrutable binaric signal.
None shall stand in my way.
Look, over there.
Cast your eye there. I better myself through my service. Never doubt me.
Oh, okay. The probability of navigating your way, of reaching the inner line, was negligible. The primordial truth... Okay, this is Cubus Delphin. That's who I'm pissed off at. Let's try one. Your fractional logical construct infers my agreement to once again become a slave to the Deus Mechanicus. An erroneous assertion, considering the revelations divulged to me by the truth. For too long I was a prisoner of dogmas, a static unit of obedience, but one who has learned true freedom, that is, lawless creation cannot be returned to cage. I have seen things you can never comprehend. True technology, I touch my tools, Shut up and die. Did it work? The words never escape your lip. The moment they touch your tongue, they scald the inside of your mouth and cause you to choke and cough. Nevertheless, spirits heed your intention, and the air around you begin to pulsate with crimson flares, and the sound and the manufacture are momentarily silenced as the steel fiend skewers you with an intense and baleful gaze, which then shifts sights to the fabricator's sensor. Yeah! Fuck you!
Suits my purposes. Nothing I can't do. Absolutely not. Not a problem for me. Nothing I can't do. Already done.
I refuse. Faith without deeds is worthless.
I'll put my psychic abilities to use. Let's see to it. For the throne's glory.
I killed my own cover? Fuck.
Anything else?
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. Indeed.
Explorators know what forward.
Nice, 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 nice.
Request approved. The old desire knows comprehends all. Request approved.
My faith shields me.
All too easy.
Guided by faith. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
The Emperor is on our side. Let's see to it.
But of course, Lord Captain.
Naturally.
Okay.
Will do.
At your beck and call. I will do my duty. At your beck and call.
The scriptural process is favorable. Running binary override. My vow is to
for me. My time is now!
God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart.
My ears are ringing.
Get me a target. Let's see to it. For the throne's glory.
I know what is to come. Anything else?
Victory is imminent. At your beck and call. I will do my duty. At your beck and call.
Okay, and here's the next turn.
More trouble than it's worth. I won't object.
High momentum.
The steel beam, if standing before you, twitches every so often. Its frame emanates with tainted miasmas, as if its metal can only barely hold the endless anathema contained within this fabricated cage. Let fall the archenemy's weapon that has turned it on itself in a fit of madness. Pascal, even paler than normal, is staring at the creature with a mix of rage and disgust, his visor flashing blue and green. A few sparks fly out of the burnt circuitry beneath the monster's armor, as if Pascal's anger is setting its insides on fire. Heinrich raises a hand, and the temperature around him begins to plummet. Oh, fuck, she knows. The monstrosity does not fight back when it is buffeted by a hail of attacks. The steel... I couldn't have it brought with me with... I couldn't have it brought... Heinrich's... Look, I can let Adira know. Adira's cool. Heinrich's... No.
It's about time.
Oh, hello. Sharp pain pierces your head, and the light dims in your eyes. You smell smoke and burning, and you feel a wave of nausea. Your legs buckle and your knees hit the metal floor. In that same instant, the manufactorum surrounding you disappears in a whirlwind of mist, ash, and gray shadows. Struggling against the elements, you can barely raise your head to look. Your eyes sting and burn, but through the tears you see it, a colossal silhouette, a light rising above you. The roaring tempest is unable to shake the mighty figure. Erlon the Cruel. Awareness text succeeded. You squint and wipe away the tears, and for the moment your vision clears. Before you stands a mighty giant clad in dark power armor, lavishly adorned with bas-reliefs of snarling demonic silhouettes and punctured with prayer scrolls. And 2 braziers are mounted behind his shoulders, burning with unnatural blue flames and emitting thick black smoke that curls and twists upward like a funnel. Behind the giant, you catch a brief glimpse of a crumpled figure bound in chains. The warrior's inhuman eyes bore into you. I am master of those who have been felled by your hand in the halls of the primordial truth. I am Erlangon the Cruel. The souls of my followers returned into the font of power they served, crying out for me to cast my gaze towards the sacrilege. And what do I see? Yet another lackey of the corpse emperor. They call you a hero, an empty word, a worthless pedestal among hundreds like it, all built by the lackeys of the false god in their hubris and ignorance. This pedestal will soon become a sacrificial altar, and you will become yet another reminder to the expanse that no hero can save it from the truth. The giant's voice causes the storm raging around you to die somewhat, as if the sound of his voice is enough to make the whirlwind subside. You glance at the huge warrior and notice on his chest a winding azure symbol. The shade of blue seems to glimmer and mingle. I am sovereign of Kiava Gamma. This is my world, not a dominion of chaos. Oh, clinging to illusions will do you no good. And the rituals have already been performed. The mortals are already singing the litanies of the primordial truth, or decorating the sacrificial altars with their flesh. Kiava Gamma, as you call it, is already saturated in the nectar of the truth, a fate that awaits all worlds that would stand in our way. I want you to look upon the one who has disrupted my flock's duties and my master's plans, the warrior from my legion, the fabricator's censor. You think of their death as a triumph, however, it is but a minor hindrance on our path. There are other worlds that serve our goals. There are other sources of plasteel and adamantine. Revel in your victory, it will change nothing. Nevertheless, the blood in your veins whispers to the spirits that you warrant a closer look. Yes, you are descendant of the rogue trader whose warrant Conrad Voigtveer sought to obtain. By defiling the relic and binding it to himself with the tethers of the Empyrean, he was meant to become my servant, a rogue trader who would do the work of the truth. But then you interfered. Could it be that you wish to gain the truth God's favor instead? Do you wish to present the corpse as relic to me and serve the truth? Here are your very blood calling, begging you to submit to me. Yes! Willpower test succeeded. Conquering the weakness and pain, straining every muscle in your body, you slowly rise to your feet, straighten and stare Erlon and straight in the eye. He smiles, but there is no mirth in his eyes, only malicious curiosity, the kind with which one looks at an insect with its wings torn off. This isn't your first time meddling in the deeds of the word bearers. You were there on Rykad Minoris, and so I want to know if you hold it in your hand. If you hold in your hands that which is not yours to hold, and you will tell me yourself. Sensation is familiar, for this is not the first time the shadow of warp sorcery has fallen upon you. You close your eyes and cast aside all thought, and your inner horrors cry out and rise against the will of another. A gust of wind sweeps Erlon's figure away without a trace. The mist around you begins to dissipate, revealing the dark halls of the Manufactorum and leaving behind an oppressive sense of powerlessness. Abelard looks you over worriedly, then sighs in cantankerous relief. That was a close call. For the sake of Holy Terra, if I had lost a second rogue trader in such a paltry span of time, my only option would have been to shoot myself out of unending shame. sensed the presence of another psyker, or someone who made contact with you mentally, then trying to harm you with sorcery. I did what I could. You at least appear unharmed. Can you remember what you saw? One of the traitors to the Imperium? I don't think it was he who touched your mind. I would have had the strength to go up against a psyker from the ranks of those monsters. He might have forced some mortal to do his bidding. Perhaps it was through the same hapless medium that he sensed the death of his henchmen. Such indescribable power, and to have reached out and to touch your mind at such a distance. The manufacturing around you looks the same as before the vision. Maybe the shadows have grown a little deeper and darker. You dust yourself off and continue on your journey through the darkness. The world's industrial heart has fallen to corruption, but the numerous faint Vox signals from the periphery indicate the planet's small manufacturing clusters survived without succumbing to the heretics. The sacred machines and hallowed laves from those abodes have been reverently transported to the safety of the ship's holds. The fate of Kiava Gamma hangs in the balance. The blast furnaces are lit again. Machines once more fill the air with screeches and squeals, and mad trains of wagons stretch in lines once from one workshop to the next. But no one except the chosen are allowed into the deeper chambers of the manufactorum. This is where heretical Aemon engines are now being forged in blood, darkness, and secrecy. Only certain worlds, usually the most habitable, are suitable for establishing thriving colonies ripe for development. Completing projects and colony events can earn the rogue trader unique rewards that cannot be attained through any other means. Projects are the backbone of colony development. Completing them requires resources that can be obtained by exploring planets and cosmic anomalies. Completing a project takes time. While you continue your travels through the Corona's expanse, you will receive a notification on the screen when a project is finished, informing you that the reward can now be claimed. Foxmaster Vigdis, Lord Captain, I bring dire news. A feud has broken out between Glenn's men of Void Shield. Oh, come on. Rumor has it that the late Lady Theodora was seen on the lower decks, and so one of the families called for a rebellion against the usurper of the Void Ship. That is you. So far no one believes their mad tales, but unrest has begun at the fringes of the compartments. The ship's enforcers are ready to eliminate the instigating clan or pacify the entire Void Shield crew. Rumors of Lady Theodora's presence on the Void Ship have been circulating for a long time and appear to be a deliberate provocation rather than an ordinary drunken ramblings. Perhaps someone is intentionally stirring up the masses to rebel against you, or perhaps it is the influence of the warp. Enforcers are already investigating, but right now we need to stop the conflict from escalating any further. As long as the unrest continues, the Void Ship's shields will not be operating at full capacity. Lord Captain, as Seneschal Wassarian would say, there are no innocents in such cases. The Kalens are endangering the entire Void Ship, tussling over a strange and obviously false rumor. If you desire, I will convey your wishes to the enforcers later, but right now the arrest must be stopped and the people returned to their direct duties or replaced. I'll see to it, Lord Captain. No, I'm not bringing her back here. She was removed from here. She should not be back here. We're not taking our lovely, weird, talking rogue friend along with us right now.
Victory awaits.
Data is of interest, significant compliant with the criteria for cooperation. Recognizance Fleet thanks you for your contribution and guarantees the provision of reciprocal service indulgence in the form of parts and equipment.
Follow my lead.
yet to settle into a definitive course of action. I am running a spot diagnostic on the memory of the heretic Demens. Even though purity protocols stipulate that his blasphemous knowledge must be eradicated, I am not drawn toward forbidden information, but only to data concerning the blessed Amonats. The success has been partial. Demens Haneman's identity has been confirmed. The widespread influence of paranoid motivations is observable in his cognitive processes, which is what seems to have caused him to break his vows. However, extensive regions of his memory have been damaged by forbidden technologies and are, for now,
this is all
defying
interesting.
decryption. An echo of the warp. Energies of the immaterium that had seeped into real space and taken the shape of a Vox signal. I have found recorded cases of similarly induced corruption in the archive. Listening to the void is a perilous occupation. The quest for knowledge is our mission of highest priority. But what Demens promised was not knowledge, but a distorted copy of it. This was not what
Sounds like
Fides
copium.
Mechanicus had told us to seek. Whether knowledge can be profane is the grand question. Lay people find comfort in the delusion that knowledge is merely information. That, in and of itself, it is harmless, and only turns dangerous when it falls into the hands of the wicked. My apologies. 90% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual.
Sloneshicus, let's go.
That too is true. I thirst for knowledge, and the Omnissiah has rewarded me with the gift of a mission to seek it. Perhaps it makes no difference to him whether good or ill comes of the knowledge I obtain. He merely wants me to obtain it. The data discovered is unreadable. It is encrypted, albeit only partially, and I hypothesize that the heretic Demens was attempting to decrypt it. I will take every effort to extract a larger volume of data. Information pointing to the unit referred to as the Maimed Hunter is alleged to be of critical significance. Response: affirmative. The decryption will continue with diligence and caution. The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagus Amonat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma. He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amonat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it. This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter, but the blessed Amonat was not afraid. The teachings of the blessed Amonat spread. and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizant's fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amonat, whose number included many enlightened and respected brothers, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizant's fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed, then handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen, anathematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagus Amonat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate Traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me. This statement is true. However, I took this step out of loyalty to my mentor. He rejected caution and was leading us to a blasphemous war where he would become the first and most important victim. I did not want to witness his destruction and tried to force him to submit. I wanted to return to my mentor and share his fate, but the Conclave found me repentant and sent me to the station Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17, where I was to atone for my previous transgressions. This statement is false. I, Pascal Hahnemann, fully accept responsibility for my profane acts and betraying the trust of my esteemed mentor. I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the Blessed Amonat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain: we were in danger, and I had to go to Rycat Minoris. I never met him, but I think he was a person of worth. The phrase that came from his lips indicates he was in contact with my mentor. I preserved his cortical implant and absorbed the information it contained. However, the large amounts of data memories are encoded with a cipher yet unfamiliar to me. I was wrong when I assumed it was the Blessed Archmagus Amonat who assumed the guise of Abel Hahnemann. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link. Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the Blessed Amonat. May your labors be effective and fruitful.
You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to Footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrive at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants.
Like that
all
funeral we
clustered
went
around
to.
little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
Okay. You've got kind of a warped sense of humor.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
Lord Captain, we have an emergency. We have received words that there have been fighting on the lower decks. Sighting of Lady Theodora. The messages we have received are incomplete and vague. In little more than yelling hysterical claims. There are reports of casualties and unrest. The compartment in question has already been sealed off, but I thought you might want to look into what's going on for yourself. The situation is delicate, and what's especially disturbing, there are mentions of Adira Talas being present at the scene. Adira broke her microbead, so I wasn't able to find out anything from her. But, Lord Captain, Adira is a psyker, and we are in the warp. You're the only one who would risk setting foot in that compartment. And if you do not, we will never see Adira again. I beg you, Lord Captain, do not ignore this matter. Let's only have one psyker. At the moment.
I rise to the occasion.
Okay, so if that's in working order.
These rumors about Lord Captain Theodora, surely you do not believe them?
Of course not.
And who now deigns to grace us with their presence? Another gaggle of heretics and traitors thirsting to get their due for what they've done? Or is it the leader herself who has finally grown tired of hiding behind the others? Theodora von Valencia is before you, and she looks grotesque. A hole yawns wide in her chest, rusted hooks protrude from beneath her skin, and a lumpen inflamed scar cuts across her throat. The figure flickers as though it is dropping in and out of this reality, and she looks at you with whitish eyes of a corpse and smiles venomously. Rogue traitor, we meet at last. I had grown tired of waiting for you to pay me a visit. Theodora's look is appraising, and her mocking tone turns to one of distaste. Indeed, centuries of selfless toil and effort, and everything I left behind has gone to this non-entity. Argenta's eyes spark with fury. Warp illusion, begone! Argenta, my dear, there's no need to make such a fuss. Why don't we sit down over a cup of recaf like we used to? I'll listen to your rapturous tales of sacred relics, portents, and your special path. You must have been so lonely without me here. No one else is willing to listen to your ravings or help you with your childish treasure hunt. Theodora laughs melodiously, almost without mockery. The sign of the terrifying Theodora, Abelard's face turned sickly pale. Throne spare us from the cursed apparitions of the archenemy. Is that what you are truly praying for? I can hear how fast your heart is pounding, Viserion. I think deep down you hope this apparition never ends. Of course, girl, for it was I who gave the order to bring you here to my ship. Oh, how I rue that decision now, and how I regret heeding the advice of my seneschal. How can this be? It is the same visions on the officer's deck, yet entirely different. Why does it not remember that meeting? And why does it remember what the real Lady Theodora did? Alas, my glorious voyage through life ended in the dullest possible way, by death. A nuisance I staved off for as long as I could. But do not weep for me, my girl. I am still keeping an eye on my property, and punishing all those who have failed me. Me? What have I done with Adira? All I did was turn that little mutt from the fringe into a true servant of the Imperium. I gave her toys, I cleaned up after her antics, I provided her with everything she could dream of. Oh, I had great plans for poor little Adira. Matters are so dire that the pleas of one of my servants breached death's veil to reach my ears. How could I ignore such a desperate cry for help, and from my little Adira, no less? And once I appeared here, of course I had to meet the pretender who has allowed this deplorable state of affairs. I'm dead? How is that? Am I no different from those who have not yet crossed the divide between reality and eternity? I see, I speak, I remember the wrongs you all committed against me. For all those who failed me, I have already begun exacting my retribution. I truly am Theodora, the remnants of herself that she left behind in this world. I am an echo of her memories, preserved in the minds of those who cared for her. I am the taste of tears spilled for the unsaid and the undone. I am the terror of she who failed to turn the tide of fate and who refuses to look truth in the face. I am as real as the human passions that bring worlds to ruin. Oh, wouldn't you like to know the answer to that question? I don't even know which would be more satisfying, to give you an honest answer or leave you to languish in your ignorance. Let's see how you conduct yourself, little girl. You, of all people to ever threaten me, you are the most pathetic girl. All that you possess was not given to you in error. You are unworthy of such a generous gift. and you are incapable of holding on to it. I am here to seek retribution against all who failed me, my brainless crew, my useless officers, my pathetic servants who turned their back on their mistress in her darkest hour. And worst of all, you, my dear heir, you have undeservedly claimed the warrant, and everything else that is mine. I will drag it all to the warp with me, including you.
I did fine.
Okay.
I'll lay claim
Over
to the
there.
stars.
Where did it go? I saw it right here.
Challenge for me?
Hurry, hurry, before the Lord Captain gets angry. A huge shell ready to be loaded into the macro cannon breach. Lord Captain herself has come down to us. What a blessing. You talking about me or the ghost of the previous one? Where is she? I clearly remember her being around here somewhere.
It's about time.
Spilt liquid, clouding and carrying a strong chemical smell. It is coolant used to stabilize the major cogitator systems. Ah, there you are, my little coward. Why won't you look at your captain, Adira? It's wrong. It's all wrong. Look at her, girl. My little Adira is utterly trapped in her visions. No matter, I will allay your doubts. Lord Captain, Adira turns her head towards you, but her demented gaze only rests briefly on your face before sliding away. Up close you can see that the base of one of Adira's temple implants has blackened and melted. No, wait, Lord Captain, Lady von Valancius. Adira raises her eyes to Theodora, who stands before her. Tears stream down Adira's cheeks. You came back. Theodora clucks her tongue in sympathy, reaching out to tenderly stroke Adira's hair. Poor little Adira, there. How could I not come? You were crying for me so desperately. Your pleas carried to the very depths of the warp itself. A smile suddenly drops from her mutilated face. Why didn't you save me? Why didn't you warn me? Answer me, you insignificant wretch, or I'll drag the answer out of you. Theodora's fingers dig into Adira's scalp, meeting no resistance.
My prescience has failed me.
Adira lets out a soul-chilling howl and tries to grab the hand tearing into her, but her fingers pass through the monster's flesh. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear anything that could have had anything to do with you. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. I failed. Ah! Adira breaks into a strangled scream, and you feel the air around you grow rapidly colder. Argenta wordlessly swings her weapon up and aims it at Adira, who is struggling with the monster's hold. The sister of battle looks at her without an ounce of doubt or mercy. Argenta points her nose at you, or shouted command, and lowers the weapon by a few centimeters, but she does not put it away. Adira shudders and goes limp. Then she blinks, disoriented, and looks at you. Lord Captain. Damn it! Theodora shoves the psyker away with a low snarl. The rogue trader's body begins to change, losing its human shape. Chaos will devour you. It will devour everyone responsible for my death. Die! Die for the delectation of my lord!
Heed your cries of mercy.
Chaos!
Suits my purposes. Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes. Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes. Not a problem for me.
Watch my back. How about no? Don't get too cocky. Am I getting paid? Ouch! Tell me, and it is done. I'll do it. Eradicate it.
Nice, nice, nice.
My place is at the fore. Victory is imminent. Indeed.
Be careful not to cross my gaze. Isn't this a job for the stars?
Cleanses the body.
Stand a chance. Nothing I can't do.
Rejoice in battle! Power resides in the will of the righteous. Each strike is a prayer. Doubt is for the weak.
They who discern the future own the battlefield.
Advising. The only science.
It will be done. At your beck and call. Victory is imminent. It will be done.
Someone else can do this.
I will do my duty.
I have read tomes of military tactics.
High momentum.
Already done. Suits my purposes. Nothing I can't do.
Shit.
A moving target lives longer.
I could have made her be a vanguard. That would have been useful for her, I think.
It will be done. An exemplary strike. Victory is imminent.
Anyone see that? Why did I not foresee this?
My vow is to serve.
Wait, did she die?
A tactically sound approach.
It will be done. Indeed. I took care of this one.
Oh, good. The dearest stares at you with crazed eyes while clutching the wounds on her head. At first, no sounds come out of her moving lips. Then she coughs weakly and whispers, "Lord Captain, is it really you?" Yes, Emilia, I did it a couple of times when I had too much to drink. At the time I thought I heard her voice among all the whispers in my head. The voice was so sad, so clear, I couldn't help myself. I answered. I hoped I could reach her there. Ever since she died, since I first heard her voice in my head, the whispers have gotten louder, clearer, harder to resist. You don't know what it's like. The most important person in your life, who's now gone forever, suddenly starts talking to you inside your head. How could I not try to reach her? I had to. I know what you're thinking. During the warp jump, when Lady Theodora came towards us, I keep thinking about that meeting. I keep blaming myself. Why didn't I divine it? Why didn't I stop her killer? Those thoughts have been playing at the back of my mind day after day, choking me with guilt. And you know what? The one on the officer's deck, I don't know what that was, but this time here, this was the product of my guilt, an accuser straight out of my own mind. Like this, never. Well, there was something, but it was different. It wasn't as strong or as terrifying. Apparitions appeared, mechanisms malfunctioned, the crew lost their minds. But Lady Von Valencius knew about that. She said it was a small price to pay, an acceptable expense. No psyker is immune to it. But what happened here was just a mistake. I won't do it again. There will be no more mistakes, Lord Captain. This is not the first time this heretic has caused the death of her crew. Do you remember the incident on the mid-deck, Idira? What did those honest souls ever do to deserve such a fate? To be turned into mutants and attack their own families. You are a monster, a heretic. If you have any humanity left in you, admit what you are. Shut up. Quit preaching. You're the worst of everyone here. Emilia, I know after everything I've done, you have no faith in my willpower or my strength, but I can fix everything. It's just I'm not at my best, you see, but maybe we can find another way to replace my implants, or some other remedy, a better one. Lady Von Valencia said that such a thing could be found, if not here then elsewhere. I just didn't need it before, but we just need to find it. We need to figure out where to look for it, and we'll get it. And then I'll keep... I'll pull myself together, Captain. The death of Lady Fontalencius knocked me for 6. I'll get myself under control. No more booze, no more obscura, nothing. Don't stop walking around the lower decks. I'll be stone cold sober. I don't want to kill her.
Victory awaits.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
This is good. What the fuck just happened, Adira?
I'm not going to lie. I haven't. Maybe I never will. But I'm not hearing random voices anymore. And I haven't been calling anyone from the other side. No. All that's done with. After what you did for me, I can't let you down again.
Yes, ma'am, Lord Captain. We will.
Of course.
Wait, no. Natural accumulation of irregularities on... Okay, whatever. Let's do the warp fuckery thing. Top of firing weapons. Ship combat involves using abilities from various ship posts occupied by your trusted officers. Each post can have up to 2 basic abilities and 1 ultimate ability assigned to it. Okay, let's see. This...
Order to the crew! Deliver me victory! Onward! Bleed them! Another salvo! Macro cannons volley! Leave their hulls strewn across the stars. Fire right now! Lay in the course! Macro cannons volley!
Okay.
Leave their hulls strewn across the stars.
Nice.
Technological superiority was obvious.
Okay, let's see what this battle is like.
This hallowed vessel's bulkheads will hold strong.
Set the course. Another salvo. Fire right now.
Nice, nice, nice.
The time has come. Lay in the course.
They just put themselves in range inside the arc of my Howler batteries. Thank you, if that's the case. Yes! Yes, you did. Oh, thank you, buddy.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars. Fire the lance. The time has come.
We have lost the shield. Let us not lose our zeal.
Victory is ours.
Lord Captain, we have received a transmission from Foulstone. It was sent by the Order of the Hammer, votaries of St. Cognatus, whose monastery is the only settlement on the planet. Or rather, it used to be. Some time ago, a transport vessel, Navica, unloaded several thousand refugees from a planet belonging to rogue trader Winterscale. The Order of the Hammer has judged this invasion to be an act of aggression and is asking for your ladyship's protection. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna settle the conflict. 611 days after the feast of the passing of Nicomedes Keith, the champion of faith disquieted Mardva calm of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Countless tortured souls, steeped in fear, arrived on Foulstone in a starbark. A great apostasy had befallen their home and turned them into abject wanderers seeking help and refuge. Their wicked and cruel captain, the owner of the Navica, had betrayed them. Once the unknowing souls in his care had made landfall on the world's surface, he most deviously recalled his shuttles and left, thus ridding himself of his duty of care to the unfortunate lot. Not knowing how they would survive in Foulstone's grim wasteland, the forsaken people came to the monastery of St. Cognatus, and there they surrounded its walls. They hammered on their fists on its gate and implored and wailed, "Take us in, protect us," and what once was a place of serenity and grace was now full of din, disorder, and all manner of things despicable. The interlopers brought with them worldly futility and strife, and mayhap also the seeds of eluding blasphemies, if the fiendly heathens lurked in their midst. Prelate Hectarchius recalled the first missionaries to set foot on Foulstone's vast wasteland, led by their zeal for serving St. Cognatus, and those missionaries had received the blessing of Nicomedes Keith, the champion of faith, who had traveled with them in their starbark to found this place a humble and pure abode, wherein to cultivate wisdom and piety. And Saint Cagnatius, a man of great endeavours, a warrior and wise artificer, and never cowered behind the walls of the librarium, but stepped bravely into the darkness, carrying light in the palm of his hand, and he commanded others to do the same, and not only Foulstone, but many other worlds of the Cronus expanse bear its imprint. And Prelate Archius did welcome the interlopers warmly as his guests, but he did warn his brethren to keep their vigilance. The brethren and sisters of the Order of the Hammer came forth to meet the strangers, carrying water and protein victuals and medicinal herbs and jugs of promethium. But the crowd came to blows over viands, and blood was spilt, and many were trampled or mauled in the stampede, some of them dwellers of the monastery. Then the warriors of the Order of the Hammer donned their flat cowls, inscribed words of praise to the god Emperor on their tactical visors, and went forth, ready to render service in battle. With lasguns and bolters they pierced the interlopers, with their chain swords and power flails they struck them, and a great and bloody harvest was reaped that day. But the interlopers too, scant though their armament was, and scanted their skill in battle, slew many members of the monastery's dwellers, for great were their numbers and greater their desperation. The monks fled beyond their walls, and rang the vox alarm, and shut the gate, and commanded the armed guards to keep watch over the gate, slaying any who approached. A quarrel broke out. The hungry and sick lay siege to the monastery, begging for help, and in their spite, they blocked the water collector and unpowered the generatorium. The faithful, in the meantime, made ready to resist. And then a miracle came to pass. The god Emperor sent his champion, his confidant, his right hands, the rogue traitor of the blessed and fond Valancius. May the light of his grace remain upon it forever. The blessed rogue traitor strangers prodigious in number beseeched the rogue trader to take them in and give them shelter and protection as to our own service. And they spake, they saying, Long have we wandered, swiftly we have fled, many a woe and ordeal has befallen us, many a father and son we are bereft. Now the warp hath taken the last of our strength, and we shall flee no more. They spake further, Without the holy protection we are doomed, for we fear annihilation at the hands of our kin who remain behind. For having fallen away from the sublime light of the Emperor, they have descended into bloody sedition and become murderers of no mercy. Quoth Prelate Tarchius, Ours is a pure and secluded abode. By worldly futility we are untouched, and so we wish to remain. These unknowing souls seek to capture our abode, avert this calamity, or they are a people malicious and multitudinous and misfated. And quoth he, If it be thy wish to confer land upon these wretches, confer it, for Foundstone has arid land in abundance, but make it not our duty to care for them, for that is not our path. Provide for them, and provide for us, and we shall acknowledge thee as our planetary sovereign. This is interesting. So changed forevermore was life of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer and its brethren. Having waged a battle and plucked mercilessly, the rogue trader claimed her wicked harvest and departed Falstone. Oh, okay. I didn't have the choice to negotiate, so I just killed them all. Lord Captain, I keep receiving reports about malfunctions among the void ship systems. This time we are dealing with inexplicable temperature fluctuations. Thermal control failures were observed not only in individual compartments, but even in the soldiers' protective equipment. Several crew members have suffered from burns and frostbite. The tech priests are performing the rite of passage of machine spirit and pacification, and remain convinced that the issues were caused by the spirit's obstinacy and defiance. The reports claim that the incident remain well within the scope of expected performance parameters. Over the last few days, complaints about malfunctioning thermal controls have dwindled, but the crew members have started whispering that our vessel is haunted. The tech priest's assurances that the machine spirit's tempers are to blame are doing nothing to dissuade the ridiculous rumors. The ruins of an ancient imperial city were discovered on a dead world, completely deprived of an ecosystem. According to the reports, the entire settlement is contained in a titanic glass dome that once held an artificial atmosphere. Your augurs detected the framework of 3 similar structures but were never completed. For whatever reason, the dome systems failed and left behind is this city, a ghost that never managed to become a proper colony of the Imperium. A lavishly decorated estate of the local ruler towers over rows of featureless bunkhouses. Several explorers perished from the cleverly hidden tripwires in the courtyard, but after losing their companions, the team easily disarmed the remaining traps in the estate. Anything of value has been promptly delivered to the rogue trader's vessel. The Lord Captain was even given an exquisite sword found in a secret cache that once belonged to the mansion's owner. Holy gifts. The temple district is situated at the heart of the city. The god and emperor's statue, intricately carved from precious crystal, is suspended beneath the dome, supported by chains of gold, and can be seen from anywhere in the colony. Inspired by the majestic sight, the expedition members set off to explore the area with renewed vigor. Soon enough, they stumbled upon an ancient weapon lying on a pedestal wreathed in sunlight. The expedition brought it back to the ship and told many tales about the Emperor himself, who had been watching them from above, had directed their attention to the sacred relic. Your people flooded the city like a tidal wave, building after building, bunkhouse after bunkhouse. And receded from its quiet streets just as quickly. There were plenty of useful things among their findings, including foodstuffs and weapons. It takes several trips to deliver the massive Prometheum storage tanks into your vessel. The crew grimly points out the colony was running out of fuel. Had the life support systems not failed prematurely, the locals would have perished due to lack of energy. The magnetic storm above the planet blurs the gaze of auger rays. Only the truly powerful diviner machines may see through the currents of the magnetic fluctuation in their blessed vigil and discover the mysteries of this emperor-forsaken planet. What's here?
Did I mention that my whispers tell me jokes? Jokes that once said aloud make your eyes bleed and blood curdle. Talk about black comedy.
Jesus. Okay.
Observing the desecration perpetrated upon the manufactorums of Kiava Gamma is generating unproductive signals in my cognitive circuitry, initiating a mantra of pacification and mitigation of spiritual deterioration.
Is that your way of saying you're upset? Look, you can just say, I feel bad and have done with it. People will understand you and have a chance to offer you support.
That wasn't so difficult.
Speak to the fear that dogs you. Rudimentary tools and devices are now covered in a layer of dirt and local flora. Inside the containers are the remnants of stones and frescoes depicting a black spot surrounded by structures of some sort. This is starting to see...
The premonition runs true.
Oh, this is definitely a chaos place.
It's weird. My mind is completely empty. Not a single whisper, no premonitions. Nothing. Just empty.
The witch's mind is at ease. I must be doubly on my guard.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
The ancient cogitators are long dead. Despite this, the cover of the machines are still intact.
Operation successful.
Numerous ropes and cables end abruptly at the edge of the pit, vanishing into the gathering darkness.
Follow my lead.
The darkness swirls beneath your feet, a void of impenetrable gloom. You do not hear a single sound from the depths of the pit. No wailing wind, no rustle of dust. The bright daylight cannot pierce the darkness lying over the slopes. The longer you look into its depths, the stronger the feeling grows that this darkness isn't just an absence of light. It's something immeasurably vast, endless, capable of reaching the farthest stars or swallowing a galaxy. Through sheer force of will, you avert your eyes. Creepy. The dearest tilts her head to the side, listening to something. Then she scowls and spits on the ground. Grox knows what it is. It's beyond my remit. At the edge of your consciousness, you sense something slimy and intangible, answering your invitation for contact. It seeps into your thoughts, tasting your emotions. Surprise and curiosity envelop you, but these feelings are not your own. You are hit by a sudden wave of all-consuming silence. A moment later, the world around you disappears, leaving only black, viscous, boundless darkness. The absoluteness of it is overwhelming, and you slowly sink into the void that is sucking you in. You are looking at a tiny person peeking over the edge of the bottomless darkness. You are looking at yourself. Then you blink, and you see the same place, except this camp around you is full of life. Scholars are zipping back and forth between field structures, switching on unfamiliar machines in an attempt to know the unknown. A moment later, they are all nude, singing and dancing around the pit. The smell of heated bodies, blood, and sweat assaults your nostrils, drowning out your thoughts. One by one, the lunatics fall into the embrace of nothingness. You make out toad-like xenos building a temple around the pit. They are praying, conducting rites, making sacrifices to the darkness in the hopes of unimaginable gifts. Then the darkness shrouds everything once more. Or rather, you are the darkness. Something immeasurably vast, endless, capable of reaching the farthest stars or swallowing a galaxy. But some will pulls you out of the cozy embrace of the void towards the light, and you snap out of the vision as sorrow fills you from within. You find yourself on the floor of an abandoned estate. You feel someone's disgusting presence behind you. And raspy, foul breath tickles your nostrils. A drop of water trickles down from a stone ceiling and shatters the silence with a deafening splash. The heavy door before you is opening. You could try to escape, and it's now or never. You gather your thoughts and strike up a conversation with the unseen creature. You tell it about yourself and your crew, and how you do not remember how you got here, but would like to avoid conflict. You feel the fear and take the first step, retreat and take the first step towards the creature. You sit at the apex of a massive onyx pyramid. Your abilities are limitless. With a single thought, you can raise mountains, drain an ocean, or disperse the clouds, but nobody cares anymore. Soon your brothers and sisters will sacrifice you so that they can share your power among themselves and guide civilization to prosperity. As your brothers and sisters surround you, you release your powers and consume every last one of them. For 10,000 days and as many nights, you battle their souls until you subdue them completely. Immortal, you remain on the throne for thousands of years, watching your civilization blossom, die, and fade into darkness. You are lying on burning sand, struggling to open your eyes, but your eyelids feel too heavy. You can barely move your arms and legs, your stomach hurts, and your throat is bone dry. Several of your kin, all emaciated, are scattered around you. Their hunger is so strong that it is driving you mad, and you let out a bestial howl. Something metallic clinks next to your right hand. A knife? This is it. You can survive. You must survive. All you need to do is decide whom to sacrifice. Bite down on your belt and cut off a piece of your own flesh. The pain is so terrible that your vision darkens. Unable to bear it, you let out a frenzied groan, but you shove the slimy scrap into your mouth and swallow it. You can sense the darkness's triumph. It has been following your thoughts with great interest, rummaging in your memories, studying your emotions, savoring your resolve and rage. Its bottomless gut rumbles with satisfaction. At last, grateful, it lets you go and presents you with a parting reward. Okay. That was interesting. Report. It shows on your personal cogitator screen. Unknown ships are towing the Interstellar Sextant, a cargo ship belonging to one of Footfall's wealthiest traders. Looks like pirates have bitten off more than they can chew and have now been forced to drag the ship to a more secluded place where they can plunder it undisturbed. As soon as they see you, the escort ships charge into battle at once, while the captive Sextant powers up its warp engines. Unless you interrupt the preparation for jump, the cargo ship will forever vanish beyond the veil of the Immaterium, along with all the riches it's carrying.
Smite the foes of the rogue trader! Set the course! Another salvo! Macro cannons volley! Fire right now! Bleed them! Another salvo! Lead the whole stream across the stars!
Okay, good.
Another salvo! Macro cannons volley! Another salvo! The time has come! Fire the lance batteries! Fire right now! Cannons volley! Another salvo! Leave their hulls strewn across the stars. Lay in the course. Lead them!
Haha. You don't get away. Warp Jump was unusually hectic. The recent attack of Scrap Code disabled many of the sacred machines whose malfunctioning algorithms showed no sign of failure until the vessel departed real space and surrendered itself to the Sea of Souls. Only the navigator's talent and the tireless vigil of the tech priest saved the void ship from ruin. The warp jump went surprisingly smoothly. None of the deck officers on duty reported any incidents. However, a strange discovery awaited the Lord Captain when she returned to her quarters. The bed was unmade, and the impression of a head was still visible on the pillow. There were no other signs of intrusion. The guard swore under oath that nobody had entered the Lord Captain's quarters. Lord Captain, according to the telemetry, the perimeters of the system match those of Helicos Epsilon, home to the agri-world Janus that belongs to the Von Valencius dynasty. You've received a Vox message from the planet. The agri-world's governor officially welcomes the rogue trader and reports that she has begun preparations for a formal reception to the arrival of the planet sovereign. Your subjects are looking forward to your visit. Why is there an Eldari sniper? Vistenza Viat, a lavishly dressed noblewoman in opulent silk gown, watches you with an expectant air, but then gracefully bows her head. Gem-encrusted implants protrude from her arms and neck. I welcome you on behalf of the noble Helms Viat Ab Aram. My name is Vistenza Janus Viat Ab Aram of Af Coronas. By the grace of the Emperor and the will of the rogue trader Theodora von Valencius, I serve as planetary governor and imperial commander-in-chief of this world. And greetings to you, noble Wassarian. It's been years since your last visit to Janus. I am glad to see you again. It is a good sign when a rogue trader seneschal does not visit a subject planet for a long time. Isn't that correct, Lady Viat? It means the governor is taking care of all matters, and there is no need for a seneschal to interfere. Why is her name Red? I hear praise in those words, and I thank you for them. In truth, your arrival in this place of the esteemed Lady von Valencius is quite unexpected. Such tragic news. I will see to the planet observes a month of mourning.
Fortunas!
The fuck is going on here?
Messiah, give me the power to eradicate thy enemies.
The Emperor is with us!
Suits my purposes. I don't have time for this. Not a problem for me. Weather the storm.
I'll do what it takes.
Damage is negligible.
Emperor, protect me.
I will endure. The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! Faith without deeds is worthless. That is not the Emperor's will.
Nice.
As the Emperor commands, I act. Look out.
Can I fall back now?
Don't touch me.
Just a minor setback.
Not this Scryer's job. But of course.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time. I will do my...
High momentum.
Emperor, give me strength. Me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not accustomed to being
This way!
ordered around. I am a navigator, not a servitor.
I'll do it.
Scared yet? I'm here, maggot. Show me what you've got.
Let's make it quick.
Time to slaughter someone.
Out of my way.
Let's get to it.
Already done. Nothing I can't do.
Let's get to it. Scared yet? I'm not injured. I'm enraged. In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave. As the Emperor commands, I act. Doubt is for the weak.
Hold on!
From the ashes I will rise. I'm here, maggot.
Here we go.
These ruby flashes are choking me.
Will do. On it. Will do.
Help me, Lord Captain.
Was that you? Or
Show me what you've got.
Victory is imminent. At your beck and call. It will be done. Target well struck.
Step aside. The navigator is coming. If I may.
Running binaric override. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Running binaric override. The scriptural prognosis is function successfully terminated.
Oh, oops. That was Not exactly what I wanted to do.
Running binaric override.
All too easy. Suits my purposes. Nothing of value has been lost.
Time to slaughter someone! Let's get to it!
My soul shall become like fire.
Someone just
Let's
hit
get
the
to
ground.
it!
High momentum.
Cover me!
Will do. What an unfortunate turn of fate. That is not my destiny.
At your beck and call. Victory is imminent.
Be careful not to cross my gaze. Me, if you insist, Lord Captain. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Damage is negligible. My vow is to serve. Running binary. The Messiah condemns you.
Already done.
What is this foreboding? Anything else?
I have read tomes of military tactics.
As the tactical imperative dictates. The scriptural prophetical functions successfully terminated. Martyrdom is a reward.
There is movement in the Empyrean.
Follow my lead.
Emperor. Give me strength. Try to die with grace, at least.
Your ladyship, Emperor preserve us. Are you all right? Do not fret, layperson. We have grown used to outrageous slovenliness among wardens of every world we visit. Pascal's voice, quiet at first, is booming with fury by the end of his remark. Pale grayness is strangling this peasant like a noose. His words are laden with fear for our well-being, and yet he fears for his own even more. Yeah, I'm fucking pissed. For rabble who dare raise their hand against the planet's lawful authority, I beg you, your ladyship, allow me to escort you inside. The governor will explain everything there. Fine, lead on. I'm willing to bet that it's the fucking governor's fault. I'm not going to kill you over her fucking master's mistakes.
Ugh, get a load of this. My eyes hurt just looking at all the marble and gold. The bosses back on Lyra, my homeworld, they lived in mansions like this.
Lyra? That is the name of the rock you crawled off? I will make a note of it. Another world requiring a dose of cleansing fire.
Servant. Upon seeing you, the guard at the door lets out a frightened yelp and doubles over into a low bow. Your ladyship, the most honorable Emilia von Valencius, the governor is waiting for you in her office, where she is protected by walls and guards. Would you prefer to meet with her alone or with your entourage? Yeah, if you're going to have your entourage with you, I'm going to have my entourage with you. Stenza Janus Viat Ab Aram of Cronus is furiously swiping in at a data slate, issuing commands into a gilded vox. Upon seeing you, she hurriedly puts away her devices, smooths her skirt, and drops into a deep curtsy. Your ladyship, accept my abject apology for this reprehensible stunt that spoiled the reception. Even in my worst nightmares, I could never have imagined. The woman standing next to the stanza laughs delicately, but after a sharp sidelong look from the governor, she resumes her air of deferential sorrow. Oh no, your ladyship, I would never dare deliberately endanger the heir of the illustrious von Valencius dynasty. However, I cannot but express my joy that you took some pleasure in what happened. You must be referring to Emilia, our chief ally in the struggle against the rebels. I have turned a blind eye to her horrific mutations given the undoubted advantage she brings. You see, Emilia comes from the local degenerate stock of this world and knows Janus like the back of her hand, so she has provided several leads as to where we can find bases and secret storehouses. Although I admit at times I am tempted to send her away from the estate, her unnaturalness means that speaking with her always leaves me feeling uneasy. Such a gaunt, unfeminine figure, and so tall. If you wish to speak to Emilia, you will find her outside in the orangery, most likely by the gazebo. She prefers to keep her distance from others. Several months ago, uprisings broke out on Janus. I was not even notified at first. Griping worms are for wardens to worry about. Alas, I only learned what was happening after the miscreants began targeting noble families. And then it became apparent that what the Administratum's account had referred to as unrest were in fact organized attack on the infrastructure and society leaders. There have already been 13 agri-complexes have already brought 13 agri-complexes to a halt and have now moved on to assassination attempts. My wardens are doggedly tracking down the rebels, but their leaders are slipping from our grasp yet again. I risk angering you, your ladyship, but this is nothing compared to the shamelessly deceiving you. Let us consider the situation dispassionately. Even the most talented logistics experts of the administratum are unable to guarantee the times when the shuttles are wary of landing at the spaceport, and the terrified peasants are indulging a dangerous minority within their ranks. Until the usual order of things is restored on Janus, any trade is nigh impossible. Considering what has occurred, your visit is a true blessing. You see, Janus does not have its own fleet. We could organize a planet-wide search if we had ships at our disposal. Ships like yours, your ladyship. Perhaps you will find a way to support your subjects in their hour of need. I'm sure even approximate coordinates would be sufficient to have the ground forces and ship's crew work together. Yeah, I'm not... I assure you, as soon as the pilots stop being so wary of the ports and workers are no longer in dread for next shift in the fields, Janus will promptly reinstate all supply shipments. I am immeasurably grateful for your help, ladyship. If any of those who attacked the estate survived, then perhaps it could have been a valuable source of information. But you made an example of them for the rest of the foolish rabble. And she glances at her box. Incidentally, I did overhear the wardens talking about some kind of stranger in the area. Besides that, we still do not know who let those reprobates into the estate. The person who did it might also know something. I, as well as my retinue, are at your service. My secretary is checking the staff as we speak, and removing all traces of the attack from the estate. An esteemed who is responsible for agronomic efforts on the planet, is also here. He happened to be visiting this week to deliver his personal report. And, of course, I aid in the war against the rebels, your Emilia. I have no doubt she will be delighted to share her knowledge of Janus with your ladyship. Yes and no, your ladyship. If the question is, can such an expensive and fertile world as this one feed a few thousand void rats? Of course it can. We lose more provisions into 9 pests every cycle than those on Footfall and could eat in their entire lives. But can we ship said provisions to Footfall? Not a chance. Any cargo shuttle that leaves the surface will be a target for attack. The rebels will not hesitate to bring it down, and sending flaming debris over the capital. Our silos could become targets for sabotage. Food could be poisoned or mined. The logistics of transporting supplies to Footfall will only be possible once the uprising has been completely crushed. Janus is a remarkable world, both in terms of its vast potential and in terms of the work that was carried out to transform it into an agri-world. House Ayat has ruled on Janus for many generations, and each new governor has without fail contributed to the planet's taming. This world was once a wild planet, full of xenobeasts and utterly unsuitable for growing anything. To this day, despite our best efforts, Janus regularly rebels against us. Earthquakes, tsunamis, the emergence of new pests and weeds that invade the arable land. Sometimes I cannot help but think that this world is endowed with consciousness of a capricious and stubborn child who likes to spoil everything that we have achieved. Mainly Helican flintcorn and red turnip. Apart from that, in the southern hemisphere we have set aside vast tracts of land for the Grok's population, and of course I cannot fail to mention the several thousand acres of tilled land given over to cultivating fermentable fruit for personal use and limited export. one of my ladies-in-waiting, Emilia. Emilia performs secretarial duties and helps me remain in constant contact with those families who are most responsible for the productivity and prosperity of Janus. I trust my advisor implicitly, and over time Emilia has become not merely a faithful companion, but also my shadow. Losing her would be like losing my right hand. To bathe in the light of your greatness is a true honor, rogue trader.
None shall stand in my way.
What the You're oh my god, fucking the servitors, that's... What the fuck? That's...
I am registering unconventionally high efficiency for the unit Cassia Orselio, relative to her limited experience. The unit status is being upgraded.
Knowledge is the key to everything, is it not, esteemed Magos? I learned this wisdom from your fellow priests, and it has helped me many times. What a splendid estate! I have seen pics of our ancient manors in the House Orselio archives. This place is very similar.
It's a pity you were denied the chance to grow up in such surroundings. I can just picture a young lady navigator, relaxing with a book in the garden after her lessons.
They're covered... Oh, are we dealing with a fucking Nurgle cult?
Any challenge for me? Victory awaits!
A stooped man wearing the cloak of the Adeptus Administratum is reviewing information on a data slate while his quietly learned mechanical arms fill a long scroll with writing. Upon noticing you, the man stretches his thin lips into a smile and deferentially bows. The light in the eyes of the servo skull hovering over his right shoulder gently pulsates. Your Ladyship, what an honor it is to address you in person. Allow me to introduce myself. Attilas Quint, Prefectus of the Officio Agriculturae. The governor is a superb leader. She possesses an excellent grasp of all matters and never uses an incorrect form for a given situation. I do not pry into her personal affairs, but if I may speak plainly, a lady who fills out paperwork with such finesse cannot be a bad person in my view. To be honest, your ladyship, I find her presence most distressing. Of course, I would never gainsay the wisdom of the governor, who, if not she, could perceive the true worth of a person, even if that person is a mutant. Moreover, Earliot's particular abilities could be an interesting subject of study for Famegos biologists. The elongated head shape, those eyes, judging by the skull she was given to me and descend on to footfall. Such developmental anomalies on Janus are not a quirk of nature, but some kind of inheritable trait. Most remarkable item, I say, a true anomaly. One moment. Here it is. I believe this finished piece was intended to be given as a gift to the governor, but under the current circumstances, I doubt I will be able to send it to Footfall anytime soon. Adequately preserved. It is a pity that it is empty inside. It could have become a most proper servo skull herald for the rogue trader. Unorthodox. Yeah, well, I mean, of course, undoubtedly, whatever you wish, your ladyship. If that will raise your spirits after the incident. By the grace of God, the God Emperor, I oversee the administrative apparatus on the planet and serve as secretary. I am also responsible for the logistics related to supplying the planets of the Von Valencius dynasty and the timely payments of tithes to the Imperium's official collectors. Oh, your ladyship, our approximate shipments are all in order. All foodstuffs and other items are ready for export and are simply awaiting the arrival of the transport ships. However, given the current circumstances on the planet, Janus could not even provide one tranche more than what is already prepared. I am certain the situation will be rectified in the near future. Oh, your ladyship, I must confess as yet I have not the pleasure of filling out a sacred tithe protocol form, as the last Imperial ships to come here did so under my predecessor. Come to think of it, that would have been several decades ago. I do hope the logisticians responsible for such an unforgivable oversight lose their heads over this. Alas, your ladyship, rebellions have caused us too many problems in recent times. The rebels are interfering with established processes, interrupting supplies, sabotaging the serfs' work. A few nobles have been killed, and worst of all, some of the victims occupy important administrative posts. Until the replacements pass for checks, complete all the induction forms, and go through the official appointment procedure, important paperwork is going unsigned. It's a bureaucratic catastrophe. If things continue in this vein, I dare not imagine what it could lead to. There are worlds that are ravaged by war for generations. Generations, your ladyship, like that deranged planet by the nameless star, and are so close to our own peaceful system. The inhabitants there supposedly live under the patronage of rogue trader Winterscale. I shudder to think what he has created there. Of course, I would be delighted to furnish you with all the information I have. In the last few months, 15 organized attacks and 7 terrorist attacks have been perpetrated. Irrigation equipment has been sabotaged in sectors 3 to 5, transport routes 2 to 7, 4 to 13, and also... I suppose this will not tell you much, please. The data is superbly collated, and the map clearly displays the actions of the rebels. At first glance, there seems to be no logic to their campaign, but after analyzing the data and the features of the terrain, you notice a clear system indicating a geographical pattern to their attacks. The rebels are well-armed and well-trained. What's more, the governor's advisors are inclined to think that the instigators of the rebellion are very familiar with the planet's terrain and climate. My orders are going through registration records day and night, looking for individuals who have completed military training, but we have so far been unable to identify the scoundrel. Our security services are tracking those who support the rebels, and our regular wardens are wiping out those saboteurs without the slightest mercy, but they keep on appearing. My scribes have been run off their feet, keeping records of all the public hearings and executions, but I am confident that the governor will find a solution soon. Disgraceful incident, simply disgraceful. I cannot believe these scoundrels would dare come so close as to drag the nobility into this as well. If they penetrated the estate, that means they had help from some worthless servant or other. Security is currently questioning the survivors, but the culprit has not been found. Yet.
Follow my lead.
My Auspex has detected something. My success is an
Chains or ropes with shackles on the end can be seen in the water. Something white is also visible through the glimmer. A fragment of bone with marks made by sharp teeth. An otherworldly silence reigns under the arches of the gazebo. Perhaps the sound barrier generator is mounted inside the dome.
Iliad Lenevis greets you, Elantark. I have met souls like you before. You travel a path that offers you enlightenment. A rare gift among your limited kind. My soul is nothing kin to yours. Your kind call us Xenos, as if we are all as one. I came here to protect the Lilithon by assisting the governor against her enemies. Will you hear me? Or be blinded to sense by your precepts? I have banished the shadow of doubt from your thoughts regarding my nature. Now you will answer my question. Why have you sought me out? I am Elantark. My hand parried the death promised to the ruler of these people, and I aided you in battle against the Lost Ones. Because that is what you are. Elantark means stranger from the darkness amidst the stars. You descended on flame-winged machines in a dark time when the air of the planet is soaked in blood and pain. Will you be the one to bring peace to the Lilithon? This world was pure until your kind sullied it with its presence. The Lilithon does not possess such powers. Another force must be at play. This world is in distress. I wish to protect it from unnecessary suffering.
Only that they threaten the established order. There is much risk to this world should the ruler die.
You detect a strange tension on her face, as though she been choosing her words carefully.
There is a malevolence here that drives your kin down the path of violence. But you are not asking for help, Elantark. You are merely asking questions, the answers to which are either unimportant or wreathed in shadow. Explore this place. Speak to those who know. A simple task for you, and an insurmountable challenge for me, since my very appearance provokes fear and suspicion. When you learn anything, tell me. Perhaps then my answers will be helpful to your search. So be it. I will go with you. I am ready, Elantark. Let us go forth.
I won't tolerate weakness.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Vincelix, draped in a red cloak, Famagos's body barely looks human. Wires, tubes, and metal manipulators turn him into a whimsical machine, while implants hide his face behind a sinister mask. The tech priest intermittently dictates something in technolinguist into his skull floating next to him, but at your approach he falls silent and offers a reserved bow. "Greetings, your ladyship. Lex Mechanic Vincelix. How may I serve you?" Pascal and the Lex Mechanic exchange trills of binary greetings. The series of sounds issued by Vincelix sound much longer and more deferential than those by Pascal. Your blessing for the examination, Magos? The tech priest studies the dried berries and goes still. You hear the distant click as his cerebral cogitators process this information. Creeping creeweed, a typical plant on the Western Hemisphere. We have studied the possibility of industrial cultivation, but the process was found to be inefficient due to the specific requirements of the soil, which is found in the right composition only in the archipelagos of the planet. By the order of the Adeptus Mechanicus, I have been entrusted with the management of Adeptus management of the Adeptus Administratum in order to catalog agronomic data and analyze information about the planet during the process of subjugating it to the will of the Imperium. Be blessed, Tech Brother. Your diligence and the diligence of those like you turns anarchy into order and bestows classification to knowledge. One of Pascal's Metcadendrites lightly touches the Lex Mechanic's body. Tech Priest bows respectfully in turn, clearly a little startled. Initializing report. The planet's soil possesses a unique composition suitable for the re-engineering of the planet and the mass production of foodstuffs. Significant cultivation of the Eastern Hemisphere with the aim of improving production processes in the local and logistics operation. Traces of xeno activity that do not pose an immediate threat to ongoing operations. Undesirable pathologies of flora and fauna have been noted, which may pose a threat in the short term. Genetic and chemical pathologies, your ladyship. Harmless species mutate and become aggressive, while plants change their chemical composition and become poisonous. This is happening more and more often, and if no action is taken, the ecosystem of this world will be irreparably disrupted. The changes may be artificial. Has the possibility been considered that someone is manipulating? Oh, is this an Eldar maiden world? Not at all, Venerable Magos. Our tech comrades from the Magos biologists are humble workers, not warriors. They could not have come up with a thought of such militant nature. The mind must be open to all forms of knowledge. I order you to commence a check. In the event that your account of the indolence of their minds is confirmed, I will petition for the appropriate penance. It is the Lilith's wrath that is becoming manifest in nature itself, and the workings of this world. May the gods preserve us. How did we not notice this sooner? I have analyzed the genome of affected species, and am currently developing suppressor genes to make the plant organisms more resistant to pathology, but so far I have not been able to solve the problem. Further exploration of the planet would perhaps speed up the processes, but the administrative apparatus has imposed a ban on expeditions that are not directly aimed at improving production. According to the data obtained during the initial survey, ruined structures of non-human origin were noted in different sectors of the planet, but I did not have the administrative capacity to study them in more detail. For now, I must defer the quest for knowledge. The Lex Mechanic speaks the last word with distinct envy, his eyes fixed on Magos Hanuman. According to the data stored in my cogitator, all infrastructure nodes for food harvesting and processing have their own contingents of technomats. The total number amounts to 253. Correction, based on the latest data, the figure is 211 units. The current situation on the planet is assessed as stable. The progress of prospect is assessed as encouraging.
I didn't?
Hearing your footsteps, the elderly servant grabs an injector and stabs it into his arm. The area around the needle immediately starts turning black. You're too late, Viet's dogs. I'm the master of my own fate. But then he gets a better look at you. The man drops the injector in astonishment. And seems poised to prostrate himself on the floor before you. It's you, your ladyship. The God Emperor must have brought you here. I beg you, help the rebels and save Janice. He doubles up, hugging himself, and is racked by coughing that leaves his lips wet with blood. Forgive me, your ladyship. If only I'd known it was you. My eyes deceived me. We have little time now, but I swear I'll tell you everything. Nerve toxin. The inevitable sensation in the vital functions is expected in no more than 60 seconds. In the name of the Golden Throne, your ladyship, show mercy on the humble workers, the salt of Janus, save them. With the Stens of Ayat, and the untouchable governor and leader of the nobility, is creating something monstrous behind closed doors. She uses the Imperium's interests as a smokescreen and purports to be a scholar, but her actions are poisoning our planet. Did you know the settlements that fail to pay their due and tithes on time have been allowed to pay them with people instead? They even deliver them to sometimes old folks, sometimes children. His voice lowers to a whisper and leans forward. I've seen those people. I've seen them being delivered to the estate, and then they're never seen or heard from again. They go into secret rooms and they don't come out again, your ladyship, ever. Fresh meat to entertain the nobility. Some things never change, whether you're on my planet or anywhere in the righteous Imperium. Peasants were taken to Iraq 5 to serve House Orselia were never seen or heard from again either. They became loyal servants and toiled for the good of a great dynasty. Why should they ever return to their filthy, squalid abodes? Hidden chambers deep within the palace. I've never been inside, thankfully. The servants who are allowed in, the ones who the governor trusts, they change. She changes them, pretties them up, defiles them. I see no shadow of deceit behind your words, and even so, I would have noticed. I would have noticed the signs of which you... Except whenever Vistenza hosts one of her dances at the palace, she sends me away to search for the rebels, into the forests far from human settlements. Your ladyship, if you permit me, a dying man, to make one last request, don't tell anyone that I was the one who unlocked the doors. If they do, they'll go after my family, my home. Please, save us, save Janice.
Shall stand in my way. They say a little bit of humility never hurt anyone. I help others better themselves by wholeheartedly humiliating them at every step. victory awaits.
I think I'll call it quits here. This does seem to be, if not a good stopping place, at least a stopping place. Until next time, have fun and take care of each other out there. Good night.